What if I told you democracy in America is no longer in the hands of the people? That a small, powerful elite, billionaires, tech giants, and corporate overlords are quietly shaping our future from behind closed doors? This isn't fiction. This isn't a conspiracy. This is the reality of a new American oligarchy. A reality where the voices of millions are drowned out by the influence of a few. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain to expose how wealth and technology are being used, not just to influence elections, but to control the very fabric of our democracy. It starts with super PACs, funded by billionaires who can spend unlimited money to sway the vote without ever being held accountable. Then there's the growing power of big tech, companies that decide what news you see, what ideas you hear, and who gets silenced. Algorithms that manipulate your attention, shaping your views without you even realizing it. We're talking about systems designed to keep us divided, distracted, and powerless, while the rich and powerful grow even richer. The truth is, these elites are not just influencing politics, they're rigging the system in their favor, and they're doing it with little resistance. In this video, we'll show you who's behind it all, expose the faces, the money, the tech, and how it's all connected in ways you never thought possible. Welcome to Deep Dive America. Let's uncover the truth. The United States was founded on the idea of democracy, government by the people, for the people. But throughout its history, power has often gravitated toward wealth. From the robber barons of the Gilded Age to the corporate monopolies of the 20th century, money has consistently overshadowed the public will. But today, the landscape is different. It's not just oil tycoons or steel magnates calling the shots anymore. Now it's the tech giants, data moguls, venture capitalists, and billionaires who control the digital age. These individuals have unprecedented power, not just over industries, but over the very infrastructure of our society. They manage vast amounts of personal data, control communication platforms, and even influence how we think and behave. And perhaps the most frightening part of all, they're not just influencing politicians, they're becoming them. In a world where the lines between business and politics are blurring, the people who own the most valuable resources, our data, our attention, our behaviors, are the ones shaping laws and policies, often without much public oversight. This isn't just a new chapter in American history. It's a new paradigm, where wealth and power are more concentrated than ever, and the consequences for democracy could be profound. Let's name names. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, one of the largest companies on Earth. But his influence doesn't stop with retail or cloud computing. He also owns the Washington Post, one of the most prominent newspapers in the country. When you control both the marketplace and the media, you control the narrative. Then there's Elon Musk. He owns Twitter, now rebranded as X, giving him direct control over a global platform for political debate and cultural discourse. Add to that his Starlink satellite network, crucial for military communications and internet access worldwide, and his billion-dollar defense contracts with the US government. Musk isn't just a businessman. He's become an infrastructure unto himself. Mark Zuckerberg, through Meta, commands the platforms that dominate our daily lives: Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. These aren't just social apps. They're modern public squares. They're where elections are won, movements are born, and misinformation spreads. Peter Thiel, one of the early investors in Facebook and co-founder of PayPal, quietly funds political candidates across the country. His vision leans libertarian, and his money often fuels campaigns pushing for radical deregulation and a reshaping of government itself. Then there's the lasting legacy of the Koch brothers. Though David Koch has passed, their network lives on, funneling hundreds of millions in so-called dark money through nonprofits and shell foundations to influence elections, courts, and education. And on the other side of the political spectrum, George Soros, a billionaire investor who's poured billions into progressive causes around the world, from criminal justice reform to election access. His support of liberal democracy has made him a target of conspiracies and criticism, but there's no denying his global political reach. These individuals have more wealth than some nations. But it's not just their money that matters, it's what they own. The platforms where we talk about politics, the media outlets that shape what we believe, the algorithms that determine what we see and what we don't, the data that can predict our behavior better than we can ourselves. This isn't just influence, it's domination. We're witnessing a new form of power, one that isn't content to whisper in a politician's ear. It's stepping onto the debate stage. It's bankrolling entire ideologies. It's bypassing traditional checks and balances and embedding itself deep into the systems that define modern democracy. And the question we need to ask is simple, but urgent. If this much power is concentrated in the hands of so few, what happens to the rest of us? So how do the ultra-wealthy actually rig democracy? Let's break it down. First, super PACs and dark money. In 2010, the Citizens United Supreme Court decision opened the floodgates. It allowed billionaires and corporations to pour unlimited money into political campaigns through super PACs. But it's not just about campaign ads. It's about access and influence. When politicians rely on mega donors to stay in office, who are they really listening to? The voters, or the people signing the checks? Second, lobbying power. Big tech doesn't just innovate, they legislate. In 2023 alone, companies like Google, Amazon, and Meta spent over $50 million lobbying Congress. That's not charity, it's strategy. These companies hire armies of lawyers and lobbyists to shape regulations in their favor, often outpacing public interest groups by a mile. And when laws get written to protect profit instead of people, democracy takes a back seat. Third, algorithmic control. Social media platforms don't just host content, they curate it. Algorithms decide what we see, what goes viral, and what disappears. This isn't a neutral process. It's engineered to drive engagement, often by stoking outrage or reinforcing bias. That's soft censorship with hard consequences. In a digital world, whoever controls the algorithm controls the conversation. And fourth, media ownership. Billionaires buying newspapers and TV networks isn't new, but in today's information economy, it's more dangerous than ever. Owning a major media outlet isn't always about making money. It's about shaping narratives. When you control what the public sees and hears, you shape what they believe. And when public perception can be manipulated, democracy becomes a performance, not a process. In the end, it's not just about money in politics, it's about money as politics. The tools may be legal, but the result is a system where the rules are written by the wealthy, for the wealthy, and the rest of us? We're left watching democracy play out on a stage that someone else built, and someone else owns. This new system has consequences. Grassroots candidates, those without billionaire donors or corporate backing, struggle to be heard. Their campaigns are drowned out by a tidal wave of money, ads, and influence. Meanwhile, policies that serve the wealthy, like corporate tax breaks or sweeping deregulation, get passed even when the public overwhelmingly disagrees. It's not about what the people want. It's about who pays the bills. Misinformation, too, runs rampant, especially when it serves elite interests. False narratives spread quickly. And the truth? It's often buried by design. Voices of dissent, activists, independent journalists, or protest movements are quietly silenced. Maybe not through outright bans, but through demonetization, shadow banning, or deplatforming. Subtle enough to avoid outrage. Effective enough to erase impact. And the result? A democracy in name only. Where the illusion of choice hides the reality of control. The American dream becomes more distant. Less about opportunity, more about access. The voice of the average citizen fades into a whisper. And those who already hold power, they tighten their grip. Because in this new system, the game isn't just rigged, it's owned. Yes, the system is rigged. But here's the truth. Systems can be changed. We've done it before, and we can do it again. Transparency laws can expose the flow of dark money, revealing who's really pulling the strings. Antitrust actions can break up tech monopolies, restoring competition and accountability. Campaign finance reform can limit billionaire influence, putting power back where it belongs in the hands of the people. And independent media, like this channel, can still speak truth to power. We're not owned, we're not bought, and we're not backing down. But it all starts with something simple. Awareness. It starts with asking hard questions, with refusing to accept the status quo. It starts with you. Because in the end, the oligarchy only wins if we stop paying attention, if we stop caring, if we give up. But if we stay informed, stay engaged, and stand together, even the most powerful systems can be rewritten. The battle for democracy isn't fought on a battlefield. It's fought in the halls of Congress, in the boardrooms of Silicon Valley, and in the minds of the people. If we want to protect the soul of America, we need to understand who's really pulling the strings. It's not just about who gets elected, it's about who influences those elections, who controls the information, and who shapes the decisions that affect our lives every day. The fight for democracy is ongoing, and it's up to us to stay aware, to ask the tough questions, and to hold those in power accountable. So, if you're ready to stand up for the truth, like, share, subscribe. This is Deep Dive America, and this was the truth they don't want you to hear